DC here. Hi guys and gals. Hey, hope you're well. It is Wednesday and you might hear a bit of background noise because just over there is the mini golf, as we call it over here. And on Wednesday afternoons, most schools, most grade schools do not have a class. So it's the perfect day for, well, I was going to say for parents, grandparents. Very often I was almost going to say divorcees and so on, if they're not working, to take their kids somewhere. And so on Wednesday afternoons, there's always a lot of kids here. I have to be careful. Somebody's been drinking. I'm on a picnic table, and they left their bottles, and it's kind of yucky. Anyway, you don't see that. Oh, it's been a busy week. Yeah, I had to get ready for yesterday's colonoscopy. And if any of you have ever had that, it's not the type of thing you look forward to. About 5 days before, you have to be very careful on what you're eating. You know, like no particular vegetables that give fiber, stuff that give fiber. You know, stuff like that. So you have to be careful if you're eating fruit and it's not fruit that has seeds or peels and stuff like that. So, you know, that's the first 5 days. And the day before, all you're eating is little, well, I was just going to say dried bread or something like that, and water. So basically, you're fasting, almost a complete fast, the day before, and then the evening before the actual colonoscopy, you take some really yucky. Well, I actually didn't find it all that bad, but you have to drink a liter of a special. I was going to say a special mixture to just basically purge yourself. When I used to do fasting, I used to do it with prune juice. But this is more sophisticated. Anyway, so you take 1 liter of this over an hour and a half, and it's kind of like has any of you taken enol salts or something like that? I can't quite remember the name anymore. It reminds one of that. Anyway, so it's a liter of this stuff, and you drink water in between, because it is, I personally don't mind the taste. Some people hate it. Then in the next day, 5 hours before the intervention, you got to take another liter of that thing. Well, anyway, so I did that. I mean, for me, I had to take it at 5 o'clock in the morning, between 5 and 6, because I had my colonoscopy at 10. So over there, actually, they've really improved the thing. You're just lightly put to sleep, and people are. I was heard so many horror stories about that thing, and I won't go into the graphic details, but they basically stick it into you, and if you have any polyps, they'll remove them as what they see, through the camera. If anybody's played with a camera that you put into I was going to say into a drain, it's a very similar situation. So anyway, I just dozed away. I didn't notice anything. I really mean nothing. And then at one point, the person, I could see her very lightly asleep. Then they told me it's over, and they brought me back to a little room and gave me a sandwich, a cookie, a coffee, a glass of water, and then the doctor came over and said, well, fantastic, nothing. He says, most people might have a polyp or two, but he says you had absolutely nothing. So that's great, because over here it's part of like the anti-cancer program, and that means that I only have to go back in 10 years' time, because I'm not a risk person. They, by what happens and so on, they'll tell you how frequently you have to have another one done. So that's great. That means I'll be like 77, when the time comes back. So I'm happy. I want to thank, though, I know that a lot of people actually prayed for me, and I want to say thank you for that, because there's always a bit of apprehension. Will there be something? And if there is, what will be the amount of these polyps or what? And that doesn't mean because you have them that you have cancer. It doesn't mean that. But anyway, I'm happy, very much so. Yeah, so that's it. That was my day yesterday. Yeah. Anyway, so that was a fun day, so to say. Well, in the afternoon I was okay. I really was. And today, well, this morning I went in at home. I mean, I stayed home and mowed the lawn. Part of the pleasures, and actually I do find it a pleasure to mow the lawn. I put on a few podcasts and just listen to them. Today I listened to 2 podcasts from Key Life. That's Key Life Ministries, and 2 podcasts from Hoy Hablamos. So it's a really interesting Spanish podcast from a guy in Spain. And the guy is not doing, he takes real themes and talks about it. This month it's like the cost of living. And he's talking about how it is in Spain or stuff like that. And it's I really found it quite interesting. Yeah, it really was. And it would have been interesting if it had been in English or French or German, you know what I mean? It was a real podcast. But nevertheless, meant for people like myself, which are, I was going to say, of intermediate level as far as comprehension goes. Yeah. So that was good. Made a shepherd's pie after, using the Instant Pot. Basically, everything was in the pot, but I still finished it off in the oven because I put it after in another container, and then basically just grilled it in the oven, just the last bit. So that was good. And it was a nice little touch for lunch. And now I just came back for a walk. I went over to the bank because we have the Euro this month, and the Euro is a big soccer for you people in North America, football for everybody else in the world. Actually, not the Irish. The Irish say soccer because they have their own version of football. And my bank is a big sponsor of the Euro over here in Switzerland, and they were giving out these caps, and I got a few the other day for myself and the grandkids. And Mrs. DC rightly told me, what about me? So I went back to the bank, and there weren't any. And so I asked the lady at the counter, I said, geesh, I got some the other day and I forgot one person. Is it possible? And she said, geesh, I don't think we have any others. So I said, oh, well, that's just too bad then. And as I was just going out, she said, Mister. I said, yeah. She said, I found one. And she had found a little box under the counter because they were all over in the bank, but they weren't any anymore. So that was nice. So she said, I'm sorry, I didn't see it, and so on. But anyway, it's okay. And so I got it. Yeah, you. So she'll be happy. Take pictures with the kids, and I got 2 for the grandkids. They're here, and they like it. There's the Swiss cross on it, and so on. I even put up a flag at home. I had a Swiss flag. The Swiss flag is square. If you look at it, it's not a rectangle, it's a square. But I have also one which is like a rectangle. So there's a Swiss flag, and then there's a football, a soccer ball on it, so that it's like an adapted Swiss flag for when they are in a competition. So I put that up. Yeah. So everybody kind of laughed because they said, you never do that. And I said, well, you kids will like it. Yeah. Oh, okay. I just saw the time, so I'm going to stop. Yeah. So I hope you're all well. It's hump day, and that'll be it then. DC signing off. Take care, everybody. Have a good week. Bye-bye.